The atmosphere at Camp Nou was incredible. I've been to Montjuic, but arriving at Camp Nou was something else. The stadium was packed. Look, there were just 38,000 people. And I said, when we have 105,000 here, this place will be boiling. Let me tell you, hearing the chants and support was incredible, truly thrilling. I left cold Montjuic, and now Camp Nou is bursting with excitement.
That's what I was going to ask, Adri, since I remember whenever we've both been at Montjuic watching games, you always say everything is great, but maybe the atmosphere lacks something. Tell us a little bit about it. How is everything? It has changed a lot. You can tell there's a different atmosphere. There's a different vibe in that new Spotify camp.
Well, friends of Barça Hoy, welcome to this new podcast that we're launching this Thursday. We're already at the end of the week. And ladies and gentlemen, we're very excited and eager to launch this new episode of Barça Today Project, and today with beautiful stories we're going to tell about Barça. Because just 24 hours ago, we were in Barcelona, specifically me, visiting the new Camp Nou. And we're going to talk about that, about the history and the stadium, about the experience we had thanks to the people from Konami Football. The trending game, which is the official sponsor of Football Club Barcelona, invited us to watch the Champions League match against Gentra de Frankfurt. And we'll talk about that, about the stadium, about the current situation, the latest news, and of course, a little preview of this weekend's match. Because Barça, after their Champions League win, will play again this Saturday against Osasuna, once more at home in the Temple and RA. Donate. Good afternoon, welcome. We've got a lot of content ahead in this hour of pre-match coverage.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. It depends on the people, on the region where people are listening to us. Adri, I was going to say, man, I messed up this podcast. A podcast. It looks incredible. That's why, as always, we ask people to smash that like button. You have to do it right now and also show up on the screen. And also tell people that, of course, as Adri said, you can listen to us on the Spotify app. Don't forget, and let me tell you something, this podcast is going to get people talking, because when you share such beautiful experiences that touch people, that creates curiosity in people. Adri, so I think people are going to be thrilled that we're talking about the Spotify card now today.
Yes, we're going to talk about the Spotify card now, about this wonderful visit we've had, and about many other things. No, and I would ask people to stay and listen, because I think they're going to love it. They're not going to want to miss what we're going to share here. And what about sharing stories? Era, sometimes, I think people always like it, right? People always really enjoy it, because I remember, just to open up the topic a bit, and then we'll continue later with another theme. But Era, do you remember the first time you visited the card now? Thank you.
Yes, I do remember it. We were much younger, of course. We'll also show some pictures so people can see how old Audrey and I were when we went to the NOW for the first time. It's incredible, but yes, I remember. It was a long time ago.
I think, Era, it's been almost 20 years since then.
Of course, that's why I'm telling you.
Because in 2006, I think I remember, at 2006, 2007 approximately.
2006. I remember it was Ronaldinho's and Deco's jersey. So 2006 was also when Barca won the Champions League.
I want to remember, it's been almost 20 years since then.
Crazy, totally crazy. It was a really beautiful experience. It's true, I have to say, I don't have that many big memories. Not for any particular reason, but because I was younger and we didn't really have them either. I don't know. I liked everything I saw, but it's true that I didn't pay attention to all the details. How can I pay attention now?
That's right. I remember that we went to Barcelona with our parents. We took a plane, and I remember it was summer because it was the Spanish Super Cup. I want to remember that we played against Beres, exactly against Beres, and look how curious that was. We're from Bolulos, a town in Huelva, part del Condado. We're exactly 1,050 kilometers away. We're 1,000 kilometers from Barcelona. And indeed, you have to catch a plane from Seville, which is half an hour from here, and from Seville to El Prat Airport. We stay at a hotel next to Camp Nou, which it still is. It was great seeing the stadium from the balcony. I remember that perfectly and will never forget it. Yes. And I remember that match against Betis. Well, it started off with an anecdote. We were very young, but I have to say that at the airport, we ran into Betis.
Right, I remember.
We boarded. I think we were on the same plane.
Yeah, actually, I have Rivera's face in my mind. Do you remember Rivera from Betis? Yes, sir, we saw him. I thought, wow, the Betis players. Did you think so too? Now it also makes me really excited, but it's true that those were the first times, and the first times always stay engraved in your mind. Dude, it was really cool.
Yes, sir. A Betis team that had a great squad at that time, and obviously that Barça with Ronaldinho, which was the one we went to see, won at Betis' stadium. I recall it was 0-3 or 0-4, and the return leg in Barcelona was the match we attended. Barça actually lost that match. So our first time at Camp Nou, Barça lost 1-2. I think Samuel Eto'o scored, and Dani scored twice. Dani
from Betis.
the legendary Dani from Betis. We lost, but the atmosphere was amazing, and the Nou was almost full. I remember during the goal celebrations, how the Betis fans roared, how you could hear them chanting that Betis, 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 yes. Always impressive. And then we did the Camp Nou tour. We saw the trophies from the old one, the old tour, which, well, had to be removed because of the construction work, obviously. And it's now located where the ice rink used to be. I remember seeing the Champions League trophy and everything. It was a beautiful experience. And another image I have and remember is right on the Camp Nou Boulevard where the Barça store is currently located.
I know what you're going to say.
There was a Barça and Company. Do you remember the old one? Yeah, I don't think it exists anymore, not even where Barça Cafe is now. And right behind it was the entrance. There was an entrance to the players' parking lot where they would come in with their cars. Something that nowadays wouldn't be possible because the fans wouldn't let them enter there freely. No, of course. I remember being there eating and hearing a commotion, a murmur from the people.
People started running. Indeed, people started to run. They actually ran toward the parking entrance. And what happened? What?
Well, what happened was that the players were arriving. Let's say, for the match. It was really early and there was a lot of focus. And I remember several players perfectly, but especially one. I remember the arrival of Ronaldinho Gaucho, who was my show, my spectacle. Well, Ronaldinho was and is one of my favorite players in the world of soccer in history. And Ronaldinho arrived with his Hummer. With that amazing car with tinted windows, he rolled down the window right in front of us, and we were shaking with a phone we had recording. But I don't remember how we did it, since that was nearly 20 years ago.
That's completely lost.
Everything is already lost.
But here it has stayed. What a shame, Audrey. But here it has, I was going to say, it's still here. I mean, it's not on the phone. But what I've experienced, I don't forget. Dude.
I got emotional seeing Ronaldinho come down. Was he wearing sunglasses? The R10 necklace, yes.
I think he wore several necklaces, not just a few.
But one of them was R10.
He wore many necklaces, but one was R10.
Yes, that's right. And Ronnie did his signature thumbs up greeting like this, right? Yeah, that surfer greeting from Ronaldinho, and I'll never forget it. I'm not sure if you recall any other players. I believe one now works at Barça.
Well, I remember I remember Deco. I remember Iniesta. I remember Oleguer Presas. I don't know if people remember Oleguer Presas. What a great memory. I remember. Well, right now I'm not able to. But anyway, the thing is that for us it was an incredible experience. And the fact that we were so close, right, Adri? Because, of course, when you go to the stadium, it's true. You're there in the atmosphere and it's awesome. We can't deny it, but the fact of being just meters away from the players with that little section we had was amazing. That was an unforgettable feeling. Man, it was really beautiful.
Incredible. I was 15 years old, about 14 to 15, of course. And you were 12. I mean, you were just a kid, a child. Were you still in school?
Still who I am now, but a little younger, just a little younger.
Exactly. Well, that was the first time then. It's true that years later we went back to Camp Nou. I remember watching Barça beat Sevilla. Did you go for the Celta match? No.
Yes, I went to a Celta match and saw it. A hat-trick by Messi. Messi scored 2 incredible free-kick goals and another goal. And actually, both free-kick goals were on my side, let's say, closer to where I was. And of course, we're talking about the old Camp Nou, right? Yes, we're talking about the Camp Nou.
The one full of memories.
The Spotify Camp Nou, right? It used to just be called Camp Nou. And that day against Celta, I went with a friend. Her name is Anna. And I remember perfectly that day I had a problem. It's also an anecdote, as it was one of Lionel Messi's goals. I said I'd record because he's about to score, but my phone froze and I missed recording the goal.
Oh my God,
I didn't record it, which really upset me, but as you said, it stayed here, impossible to erase. I recently checked the match stats, and that's exactly what happened. It was a tough match, but Barcelona won with 3 goals from Messi, including 2 free kicks. Man, two identical free kick goals. Unbelievable. I mean, you put them side by side and you say, is it the same goal?
Totally, right? Wow. And the memory we have, Barca fans listening to us, and those lucky enough to be at the stadium. And you and I who have been there, it's such a vibrant atmosphere, right? Because Camp Nou surrounds you with so many people in the stadium. We're talking about almost 90,000 people who could fit before the renovation.
Not the old Camp Nou, as it's exactly known. Around 90,000 to 95,000 people at most, but rarely more. I think it was tough to reach that number. I remember that for the women's match, for example, the stadium was filled to 100% capacity. Yes, and maybe for less important matches, it was very difficult, right? Yes, this new Spotify Camp Nou that you've been to, which we'll start talking about now, it's crazy, man. Just crazy. I mean, you said it, we've seen it, and now we'll talk about it in more detail. But that match that Adri saw, which was the first Champions League match, Adri, because he was at a historic match, that's right. The first Champions League match, historic for Barca, at the Spotify Camp Nou. Already with the first renovation, you could say, right? And with 45,000 people.
Attendance for the match was 38,000 since the stadium wasn't at full capacity. It was good. Tuesday night at 9, Frankfurt. Well, the stadium wasn't completely full, but hey, it was spectacular. And a bit, we shared stories about our first time at Camp Nou and the next times when we were a bit younger. We're obviously not that young anymore, but I mean, since we were kids, we've seen how both we and Camp Nou have changed. And how? For example, last season, also thanks to Konami, thanks to eFootball, we were invited to 2 matches. To a Champions League match against Atalanta, where it was me and you, and the Copa del Rey match against Atletico de Madrid. Going back a bit, where do we come from to get to that Montjuic? I loved it. I want to tell you that I loved it. It surprised me more than I expected, the Montjuic Stadium, but also because we went to the BID. I think that was the main reason. The atmosphere at Montjuic felt very cold and unwelcoming. And besides, the capacity is quite small. It's a very cold atmosphere. There are hardly any chants. It hardly encouraged people at all. And the big difference I noticed this past March when I was at the new Spotify Camp Nou was incredible. Although there were around 38,000 people, it didn't reach 40,000. Imagine when we have 105,000 spectators. I want to confess to you, Ira, that it was exciting. I mean, the new Card Now thing is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's insane. The atmosphere at the new Now is impressive. How does it get people excited? How is it crazy? I don't know how to explain it, but the feeling is incredible. You just look around and see so many people. The stadium, so beautiful, so big. I mean, I love the renovation they've done to the stadium. The new seats are very comfortable and more spacious, plus the stairs are wider, improving accessibility. The field is a gem, wonderful. And I really love the lighting.
Me. Sorry to interrupt you, Audrey, but there's a phrase or something that's been said a lot lately. And the rumor has it that it's exactly the same stadium. So, I want you to tell everyone, since you've been there, because I haven't had the chance to go yet. I mean, when people say that the Now is the same, that it's the same stadium as before, but now they've changed a few things and say it's the same. I want people to clear up their doubts, so enlighten us with your wisdom and with what you've been able to learn. No, I guess there are a lot of people who wonder about that, like, why do people say it's exactly the same? If that was almost entirely torn down and rebuilt...
Let me be clear, the Camp Nou was not entirely torn down.
No, I mean completely. Allow me to put it that way, yes.
I understand, I got you.
Nearly the entire area, except the lower part.
Did I really understand you? Let it be clear that Barca had to maintain it, because you just can't touch that structure. The first and second stands are the same. They're the original ones, the ones that were built at the beginning, which have been reinforced, okay? And the third stand is being built, which is the new stand that's being implemented. From now on, what has been done, what has changed? Well, it's what I just mentioned before, the entire structure of the stadium. In general, regarding accessibility, regarding the seats, the slope is different. Also, technology as well, of course. But I mean, the issue of the seats is very important as it has been done now. That is, there is much more comfort. You're not sitting right on top of the person next to you.
Sure. How can 100,000 people fit? We place the seats closer together, which increases the space available for each one.
No. I mean, we've gained a lot of comfort. Everything is much more comfortable. The stairs are much wider, and you can go down them much more easily and in better conditions. And then the lighting is wonderful. The LED lighting is spectacular. The playing field is incredible. And then the goals as well. I think they've raised it a bit because now there's a much higher advertising board and there's also some glass behind the goal. And well, the great atmosphere that will be able to be established surely in the next license that Barça will obtain. Hopefully we'll soon reach around 60,000 people and make it a reality. We have the whole grandstand, one end and one goal, but we're still missing the other goal and the rest of the field. I mean, it's going to be incredible. And when the third tier is finished, it's going to be crazy. But for outsiders who aren't Barça fans and just hear rumors, they might say it's the same. But that's just how it is for us. The first and second tiers are the same, but the design is different, the comfort is different, the lighting is different. Everything has changed in that sense. Stay calm. There's still much work. Third tier, roof and field left to do. We're still at less than 50%.
You could still say that compared to a human, it's a baby. We're not seeing a baby or it's already a few years old.
We're
still seeing the birth.
The baby is still, and there's much more to see. Let me tell you, the difference between Montjuic, did you visit the stadium last year? Yes, and Camp Nou, I assure you it's incredible.
It's abysmal.
It's abysmal. You were asking me, does the new Camp Nou have an aura? An incredible aura? Look, one of the things that struck me was when I entered the stadium and looked up and said, my goodness, what the third tier that's being built adds is incredible. I mean, it's going to be amazing when the stadium is finished. And when I arrived, I went in. A big difference compared to the old Camp Nou is that once you enter, you're already inside the stadium. You can move around the whole stadium however you want. I mean, there's no barrier stopping you from going from the lower to the upper stands, for example. There's total freedom to move around.
It wasn't always like this. You would enter through your gate, your entrance, and from there you really couldn't move around much more.
Exactly.
Freedom, let's say.
There is mobility. I mean, you can move however you want. And let me tell you something. The very important boxes they've set up, I mean, the area that's called the player zone. The VIPs that are behind the
benches.
I mean, they're incredible, amazing. I mean, the seats are incredible, just wonderful.
Adri, is that taken or not?
Yes.
Is it already taken?
They are already in use, okay? They are already in use. Now, keep in mind that there are still two very important person rings that have yet to be built. Of course, it's crazy, just imagine. But from what I've seen this new year, I mean, it's amazing. I loved it. As I mentioned earlier about the atmosphere, Frankfurt scores the goal. They take the lead at Camp Nou. And I don't remember how many people came from Frankfurt. I don't know if there were 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 people in that visitor section. That's temporary. They're not supposed to be there. Right now, the Culés fans are way down below. But once the third tier is finished, they'll be at the very top, just to be clear. And they started lighting flares and singing, and it was scary. I mean, it was scary. And when these people sang, the whole stadium, everyone there, more than 30,000 people.
I tried to shut him up.
We couldn't drown them out by singing, and it was incredible. Unlike Montjuic and Dira, it's much cozier.
It wraps around you.
It surrounds you and gives you goosebumps. The Barça anthem, the chants, the match day. Amazing. Truly a magical experience. I want to thank the football fans. An awesome game that, by the way, people can download completely free on mobile, PC, or PlayStation. A free game, that's the trending game right now. And it's also Barca's game because Barça is an official partner of this game.
Just asking since I haven't been there, okay? That anthem sung by everyone with 38,000 people? Can you imagine it when there are 110,000 people in that stadium?
Honestly, I don't even want to imagine when we have 105,000 people, which is what it's going to be, with the roof and the entire capacity full.
We're talking about almost 3 times more than what there was the other day.
It's crazy. Listen, Ira. I hope God grants us and our listeners good health so they can experience going. Once the field is finished,
hopefully,
because I can guarantee you, I don't know if we'll win many titles from now on. I hope we do. I'm knocking on wood, touching the seat leg. Winning at Camp Nou when the stadium is finished, right now we're already unbeatable at Camp Nou, but when the stadium is done, winning here is going to be very difficult.
I'll make it impossible for you.
Let me tell you, are you surprised by how much the crowd pushes here? And we're still missing the cheering section. From Barça Hoy, we also demand from the club and ask that the cheering section be set up as soon as possible. It's vital for a club like Barça. Having people cheering all the time is vital.
How beautiful, man. How beautiful. Well, I'm really looking forward to going too. You know, it's my turn next time, right? You know that? We'll go over there soon. I'll see if I can spend some time with Sonia and get to know her. Did you spend time with Sonia at the game too? I asked you that because of her. There's a moment when she says, and people say it's the same stadium, but it's not. It's not the same stadium at all. That's why I asked and mentioned Sonia.
Well, yes, speaking of Sonia, Sonia is our reporter in Barcelona who covers the women's Barça team for us nowadays. And well, since they gave me 2 tickets, we said, let's invite Sonia. She deserves it because she does an amazing job. She also writes the reports for us about the women's and men's teams on our website, barsahoy.com. People can follow our website. We're working there to try to update it every day. It's complicated because we have a lot of work ahead of us, but anyway, we're there. And Sonia is our representative in Barcelona. In the women's team, hopefully very soon, we'll also have some luck. And we're going to be with the men's team too, which we'd love, honestly.
Of course, well, if that's meant to happen, it will happen. And there's no problem at all. Let's see if Barça gives us Adri as well. Like I said, some good years of football, years of success in terms of titles, and of course, football. I see the team doing really well right now. Now, we're also going to talk a little bit, of course, about how we see the team, how they're playing, and what's coming up. Because, by the way, Adri, before we move on to another topic, we have to mention the other day's match against Eintracht, the first match at Spotify Camp Nou. Adri, from that historic match, well, we brought back a few memories, a few little souvenirs.
Yes.
We can show it on the screen if you want. For example,
check out the scarf from the Barça Frankfurt match. If you're on Spotify, switch to video mode to see it. I have it here and I bought the official Barça jersey. I really wanted to have it. And here it is. Fermin Lopez's jersey, the Fermin jersey that I bought at the official store. And it's wonderful, very beautiful. I love the jersey. The design is very comfortable and nice. It's the souvenir I'm bringing back from this visit, from this first Champions League match at the new Camp Nou.
Unforgettable. And
indeed, unforgettable. Ira has amazed me.
well, there it is. There are Adri's little gifts. Well, Adri's self-gifts. Because in the end, of course, that's for us too, because we always like to bring something back as a souvenir. When I went, I also brought back a scarf. And in the end, that's what helps you relive those same moments. They're really beautiful moments, and that's something we all love. I hope so, Adri. I really do. And I'll just throw that out there in the chat to everyone who watches or listens to us on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, or any platform. Let me say that hopefully very soon, among all the people who watch our podcast videos, we'll be able to give away 2 very important person tickets to our listeners. Hopefully we can make them very important person tickets on top of that.
Huh?
Yes. Very important person tickets for the Spotify Camp Nou, the new Camp Nou. I mean, it's going to be crazy very soon. God willing, we'll do it with the sponsors and let people watch the videos.
Speaking of gifts, we already introduced this in episode 8, and we're mentioning it again in episode 9 of the podcast. We're wearing the official channel sweatshirt that says Barça Hoy Project with a cool logo on the back. It's for sale. It's a little gift that people can ask the 3 wise men or Santa Claus for. That letter for the kids. So, on the Instagram account, on YouTube, wherever, look for how to contact us. On Instagram, it's Barcahoy News, or by email at info@barcahoy.com. That's info@barcahoy.com. People just need to write to us. And as soon as someone says, hey, I want the official Barca sweatshirt, today for this 3 Kings Day, well, look, we asked the 3 wise men to order it for them so people can place their orders. And well, the price is 30 euros plus shipping costs. People should send us their mailing address, full name, phone number, and desired size. We're waiting for orders so we can start preparing them for the 3 wise men.
Because it's an amazing gift. We get in touch with Santa Claus's reindeer or the wise men's camels, and no problem. We can at least try to make it happen. so that people, both adults and kids, can get those Barca gifts, which I'm sure a lot of people will want for this Christmas. Adri, seguro.
I'm sure they will. In fact, there are already some people who have asked us for it. I mean, we already have several orders. I think it's 4. People have already contacted us, and well, soon we will be expanding there, open, so that people can collaborate with us, which is another way to collaborate with Barca.
Yes, exactly. Plus, it's a gift for yourself that you get to keep. And at the same time, you're also making sure that Barca gets its share too. Also, of benefit, of course.
Exactly. And well, the benefit for Barca is at the competition level, because we're coming in at a great moment of form. I myself was able to see that Barca victory at the new Camp Nou against Eintracht Frankfurt, a 2-1 win. It was a tough one, really tough. With that opening goal from them, Barca put the German team on the ropes. But there were so many people from midfield back that it was extremely difficult to face them. But in the second half, Koundé's brace secured our comeback win. In that wild match, which I was part of, as you said, what are your thoughts on Barca's game in Frankfurt? What did you think?
Well, we were there live, and I have to say that to me, it seemed like a really strange match. Dude, really strange. Let me explain. I mean, the first half hour, well, I could say almost the entire first half. I have to say that I was loving the team. I mean, I was really liking Barca a lot. And once again, at the first opportunity, they score a goal against us. I mean, it's a really strange thing. Well, not that strange. In the end, it's just small details, right? And for Barca, man, I don't know why, but every mistake we make leads to a goal every time, and that's it. Is there just no way around it? So, of course, it seemed like a really strange match to me, because I was thinking, damn, we're going to win this match and win it well. I mean, it's not just that we're going to win, it's that we're going to win it convincingly. But, of course, the moment the goal from Frankfurt came in, the moment I saw that this team, out of nowhere, scored a goal on you, I start thinking, please, are we going to have to come back again? Flick has already come back in 16 matches, Audrey. I don't know if you knew that, but Hansi Flick has had to do it 16 times. It's crazy, but even so, and I'll let you continue. Right now, what stands out to me is the team's fighting spirit. I mean, I love the team, especially their fighting spirit. I mean, when the ball went out, 3 players would quickly go to get it. There was a foul. Pedrillo would rush to tell everyone to move so he could take the throw in quickly and restart play. I mean, that mentality, that's Hansi Flick. Don't look anywhere else. Hansi Flick. He has made sure to install that in the mind of every player, Adri. That genius, rage, and hunger. Hunger is crucial in football. If you lack hunger in football, you're lost. And Barca, after everything they did last year and how close we were to missing out on the Champions League final, I see him with that hunger. Man, I'm not saying we're going to win the Champions League. Hopefully, of course, hopefully. But I'm saying this is the way. Of course, we haven't had the best knockout round. I mean, the best phase in history. We didn't do it because we finished second last year. Getting into the top 8 will be tough this year. But that's unrelated. Paris Saint-Germain qualified in the last match.
They qualified among the top 24.
They were in the top 24, not the top 8, yet still won the Champions League. That says nothing about Barca's current situation. We must improve, be self-critical, and acknowledge many mistakes. But Adri, that way of running, that Rafinha who gives everything, that Lamine, even with 3 defenders on him every time he has the ball, he still finds a way out. I mean, for me, a really good match. In my opinion, the result is misleading because Barca deserved 2 or 3 more goals. It's a match that, under normal circumstances, could have easily ended 4-1. And it's not to take anything away from Eintracht, but Barca was much better than this team.
Yes, what happens is that in the end, as you said, once again, you're left with the feeling that it was just by the slightest margin. They scored on us, and I was at the stadium for the match. The goal came from them winning the ball back. And I realized, Ira, that there was a lot of space behind the defense. In other words, a Barca that was completely pushed forward, really pushed forward. Well, in the end, they end up paying for that. Ira ends up paying for it. Although Valde nearly blocked it, the striker was too quick and scored the first goal. But from that point on, what do you want me to say? Ira? It's true that Barca played well, but it was really, really hard for them.
I remember this guy from NAUF. I remember that he either scored against us or played an amazing match when we played against them in the Europa League.
Yes, actually, I was going to tell you that he's the only player from Frankfurt. He's the only one who remains, at least among the starters. As far as I remember from that legendary Frankfurt team that knocked us out, I mean, that beat us in the Europa League on that day, we don't want to remember. I was just telling Sonia about it before the match, that he was the only one still active on the team. They did a major cleanup and many sales.
A player with a lot of technical skill, a lot of speed, and in fact, it showed. I mean, he scores on his first chance, right? And more things we can remember from the match.
In the first 20 minutes before the goal, Barça played wonderfully. Total dominance and fast ball movement. As you said, they showed real hunger and veracity. When Frankfurt's goal came, it's not that they got weaker. It's true the team paid for it. It was really hard for them because they didn't just take one step back, but 4 steps back. They put in 6 defenders. It was crazy. And in the end, Cabo and Ra covered the spaces really well. Man-to-man marking on Pedri and Fermin, who basically couldn't do much. Pedri tried to take control and lead the game, but they wouldn't let him. Lamine Yamal was always double-teamed and wasn't sharp. It wasn't Lamine Yamal's best day, and Rafinha didn't have his night either. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a good match, but it wasn't the best version of Barca's top players either. And when that happens, you can tell. Obviously, I would highlight, as you said, their fighting spirit, how the team fought, how they didn't give up, how they battled, and how about the second half? Did Flick from the bench find the recipe to win the match? He took Fermin out, who wasn't having his night because he was falling down a lot. The wing couldn't find his place because there was very little space and they weren't letting him play. Marcus Rashford came in and for me completely changed the game. He was also the main man with another assist, already more than Lamine Yamal. I believe that was a new assist.
It's incredible. Also, let me tell you something. I said it live. You weren't there, but I said it live, and I said Rashford changed the game.
Completely?
He changed it and tried several other plays. Almost everything worked for him. Yes, and Flick hit the mark again with Rashford. And Rashford did very well.
Yes, Marcus Rashford was decisive. Then Frankie also came in, who wasn't very active, so to speak, but very passive.
Not me, very passive.
Adri, yes, for instance. Look at Eric Garcia and Frankie de Jong. They're completely different. But when it comes to hunger, when it comes to pressure, Frankie de Jong, I still feel like he needs to put his foot in more. I mean, technically speaking, Frankie is really good. There's no doubt about that. But to me, he's very cold.
Adri?
Very cold. I think it's always been said, it's his look. You can't stick your leg in or defend. You have to give it your all. And now that we're talking about sticking your leg in, defending and pressing, I have to highlight what I saw from Eric Garcia. I mean, the whole stadium was amazed. Eric Garcia covered the entire center of Barca's midfield. It was impressive. I'm telling you the truth.
No. I believe you. It's just that we're really annoying. With Eric Garcia, we always say it lately, he's such a versatile player that he gives you everything in any position. We're lucky today. Has he renewed his contract?
Is he going to tell you that today? Current topic, family. Today is Thursday. Eric Garcia has just officially formalized his contract renewal with the club until June 30th, 2031. You secure yourself a wonderful footballer for many years. A guy who can play as a midfielder, a fullback, or a center back. In other words, the all-rounder that Eric Garcia with the Zorro mask or the Iron Mask, as many teammates call him, who is at an incredible level. I was impressed by his work, his intelligence, how he works for his teammates, you know? It clearly gives Pedri more freedom, and he does an incredible job. Sometimes it's crucial to have someone by his side in defense, and Eric Garcia did it excellently. Another player who really impressed me was Gerard Martin.
I was going to tell you.
He played a great match again. He's establishing himself in that defensive era, and he makes very few mistakes. He positioned himself poorly, possibly on Frankfurt's goal, though I think the mistake was Kubar's. Yes, by the way, he stops, and no, yes, it could be, yes, but, well, even so, not to blame him for that aspect. Gerard Martin, I loved him. I mean, very active, good anticipation, good ball movement. I mean, quick, fast.
I see him very calm. I see him calm, man. I see that he's kind of getting the hang of it. I mean, he picked it up really quickly. What Flick wants from him, right? Exactly what Flick wants from him. He said, this is what you want, so this is what I'm going to give you. Yes, and we've always said it. He's a player who more than delivers in every match, and I agree too. I also wanted to mention Gerard Martin because I think we're lucky to have found a versatile defender who can play center-back or full-back as needed. Yes, the struggle of the working class. They said, no, yes, it's Gerard Martin. No, someone who comes from the bottom allow me to say, who comes from the bottom, from the youth academy, obviously. And suddenly, with so much work, with so much struggle, he ends up as a starter at Barça, at this Barça.
Yes, it's a joy, and I'm really happy for him because he deserves it. He's earned it. I enjoyed it, and Joan Garcia fascinated me. I mean, there was a play in the second half and at the end where we suffered a little because they pressed us a bit. At the end, Barça didn't score the third goal, and then they put in a cross from the side. Oh my God, Joan Garcia dove and grabbed it. I said, oh my God.
He's a tiger. He's really a tiger. Joan Garcia.
How confident are you in this goalkeeper? He's a gem. Also, something else caught my attention. There was a very curious fact, and it's that right before Barça tied the match, when Jules Koundé scored, who got a brace. Congrats, Jules Koundé. Most valuable player. On the field, at least in the area where I was, people were saying, what's up with Koundé? He's out of it. What's wrong with Jules? Why don't they just substitute him already? And right after I heard that, he scored that amazing goal to tie the match. Look, now that you mention it,
I remember during the match, I was criticizing Koundé right before he scored.
me too. I mean, everyone was.
But mine is recorded, you know? Mine is recorded. And I think I should look for it. Because I was saying, no, I don't know what's wrong with Koundé today. Because in fact, there are 2 or 3 plays where he clears the ball and gives it right to the opponent and sets up the counter-attack quickly, totally. And again, Koundé, but what's wrong with Koundé? And then, right after, he scores the first one, and 5 minutes later, he scores the next goal again. Dude,
See how football is, right? Sometimes,
it gives you everything, yet takes it all away.
yeah. You go after a footballer and that player shuts you up in a matter of seconds, right? That's what happened with Koundé on the field, and you said it happened to you too? Yeah, that's the reality and something else. Another player who amazed me as well because of how he competes, how he plays, the movements he makes on the field was Ferran Torres. I think Lewandowski.
Has it tough, right? Yes.
Yes, I think that for Osasuna for this Saturday, I think Ferran will be a starter.
It's just that I was saying for me in this match, I would have started, against Eintracht, I would have started Ferran. Man, from the start, right? He deserves it more than Robert right now, doesn't he? Even though Robert is scoring goals, he's doing really well. He's already at an age, but the guy doesn't forget how to score goals. But the work Ferran is doing deserves applause, man. Seriously, he's having a start to the season that just doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
I'm talking about his overall contribution, not just as a footballer, but the work he does for the team. Lewandowski can't do that kind of work anymore. Robert is great in the box and usually scores whenever he gets the ball, nearly 95% of the time. But Ferran Torres works harder than anyone and does things that Lewandowski can't do nowadays. What is the pressure that Ferran applies? His off-the-ball runs and layoffs are top quality. Robert too, of course, let that be clear. Robert is a killer, and for decades he has been good. For a decade, he has perhaps been the best striker in the world. But as of today, Lewandowski, I see that he already has those shortcomings because of his age, not for any other reason, and I think he's better coming off the bench. Notice that if he comes in fresh in a close or complicated match and scores his goal, it's better than having him start there among the center backs. I mean, I think he doesn't participate as much in the game, and in the end, that also leaves you out of the match psychologically.
Well, also, by the way, just to give people a bit of context, Ferran Torres, 15 matches. And I'll tell you, he hasn't always been a starter because I haven't always played as a starter. Ferran Torres, 15 matches, 11 goals and 1 assist.
Adri isn't bad.
11 goals and 1 assist. 12 contributions in 15 matches, nearly 1 per game from Robert. Right now, we have 12 matches played, 8 goals and 1 assist.
That's also very good.
That's very good as well, of course. Rafinha has 4 goals and 3 assists in 9 matches and is performing very well.
Rafinha.
Now he's doing very well. Yes, and Lanin has 6 goals and 7 assists in 12 matches. So he has more contributions than games played right now. Lanin, exactly?
Exactly. As Lanin says, when I ask for patience, I want people to be patient. Recently in the countryside, I heard some comments I didn't like. I mean, I understand that the guy, well, look, he's going through a lot, right? You know what I mean by going through a lot. He's under a lot of pressure. Lanin is really under a lot of pressure. But he often shows that he doesn't feel it or that he handles it well, but I think he's under a lot of pressure.
It's Adri, he's human.
He's 18 and human.
Comments were heard at Camp Nou, which got to me and made me curious.
Pass it, ball hog, pass it. For example, sometimes he kind of hogs the ball too much. Things like that I heard near me. And well, I think we need to be patient with him. Of course, like Flick has to be strict in the sense of, hey, if there's something I don't like, it's something I correct. They said he was upset about being substituted.
Well, that's what they've said. Yes, it's true. I saw it live. He acted like he was saying, oh my gosh, or something. I really don't like that.
He worked really hard on the field. I mean, the match wasn't easy for him because, well, it was complicated. He was well marked and made good plays, but it wasn't his night. Hey, you can't always give 100%, so it's okay. The schedule is, we don't stop playing matches. Now we have Osasuna on Saturday, Guadalajara on Tuesday in the Copa del Rey, then Villarreal again on Saturday and Sunday, the 21st or 22nd. I think the schedule doesn't stop then. I think Minyamal and everyone here, including myself and you, need to be patient. Of course, very young, a lot ahead of him, but I wish and hope, and I mean that fame and everything doesn't go to his head, that he stays humble, which is the most important thing in life, and that he can enjoy himself as he does today. And that nothing clouds his mind because he has incredible qualities. Every time he got the ball, the stadium would vibrate. I mean, every time he touched it, there was this murmur, like, watch out, It was like, and that's something Minyamal gives you, and to the opponents too, of course. So with Minya, what I ask for is calm, and total tranquility.
Let me tell you something. Look, maybe you have, I was going to say doubt. No, not doubt, right? But maybe there's a game you don't like from Minnesota, which is possible, but Minnesota never has two bad games in a row. I mean, he's a player who, it's true, like everyone, has his good days and his not so good days. But I can't recall 2 or 3 games where you could say Minnesota is doing terribly and can't recover, right? Besides, in every game, he always shows some spark. Therefore, I don't think there should be any problem with Minnesota. And I honestly think that if someone doesn't have patience, well, excuse me for saying this, but that's pressure. But do they know little about soccer, or have they also watched little soccer? That's possible, right? A person who sees that an 18-year-old player had 13 contributions in 12 games last year. He did what he did with Spain. He does what he does.
And he's injured?
And injured also with the pubis issue, adri, as they say. If you don't have patience, my friend, what you really lack is faith in humanity, because it makes it very easy for you. Jamal, it's not true that another day wasn't his game. Those slaloms he does are incredible, just like Leo Messi. And then on the day he does the least, he gives you an assist or scores a goal. Anyway, I think it's impossible, listen to what I'm telling you, not to have patience with Lamine Jamal. And whoever doesn't have it,
well, we asked them to have it.
We asked them to have it first. And second, that he's going to silence you with goals or assists or with a flash of magic at any moment in the match. I'm not going to do it. He's going to do it. So it's up to you if you want to trust him or not.
Exactly. So that wraps up our review. The match and Jules Koundé's brace. Ira. The stats. Give me the stats on how the table stands. Because family, after yesterday's Champions League match day, we felt a new joy. With another defeat for Real Madrid, which has to be said, Echevalón's team has fallen apart again in the match. I would say that Madrid wasn't all that bad, to be honest, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough to win. City, who also didn't play their best, managed to come back after Rodrigo's 1-0 lead. Rodrigo scored and played well. Courtois once again saved Real Madrid.
How could he not, right?
How could he not? One more day? Well, Ira, a penalty goal from Haaland gives City 3 points and leaves Madrid with a lot of doubts on the bench. Ira. How does the Champions League table look now? Tell us, what's the situation?
Well, look, for now, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal is unstoppable with 18 points out of 18, meaning they haven't drawn or lost yet. It's crazy.
But they've won everything.
Everything, absolutely everything. And they're playing great football. For now, are they strong Champions League contenders?
Yes, for now, yes. By the way, with a brace from Madueke.
He's been the most valuable player of the match day.
He scored an amazing goal. I also nominated it for goal of the match day, along with Jules Koundé's first goal. So Arsenal, I'm with you. Ira, a strong candidate to win the Champions League.
Well, Arsenal, like I said, is leading in that ranking. Bayern Munich follows with 15 points, having lost just one match. Paris Saint-Germain, who drew with Atletico de Bilbao, is third. Fourth is Guardiola's City, thanks to that win against Real Madrid. Fifth is Atalanta. Sixth is Inter. Seventh, Real Madrid drops to this spot with 12 points, as I mentioned. And with the same points is Atletico de Madrid, who currently marks the direct qualification zone.
Exactly. That top 8 for now leaves Madrid and Atleti as the Spanish teams in that zone. This gives you a direct pass to the round of 16 era. And what about Barça, who are in 15th place with 10 points? Just how many era? 2 away from 5th or 6th place?
I believe we're in 6th place, like Inter, who also have 12 points. We're just one game from being on top. It's true that, well, we have 2 matches left that for Barça, or in principle for Barça, should be easy games. The Eintracht match was supposed to be easy for them too. And in the end, look, or the one against Brugge. Exactly, it was a draw. It's the route of Prague and Copenhagen. They're 2 easy matches, we have to say it. But you have to win them, you have to play them, and you have to win them. For now, for Barça. It's true that with those 10 points, of course, right now it's not enough. We need those 6 points, so at least we're still in the running. Let's see if we make it. We'll also rely heavily on Chelsea, Sporting Portugal, Newcastle, Tottenham, Dortmund, and Liverpool. They're teams that are above us right now, and they're the ones who are going to set that direct qualification zone. What? I think in the end we're going to qualify.
Do you think so?
I think so, man. And we asked people too.
Yeah, people put it in the comments, right?
All right, sounds good to me.
And by the way, if you want more information about this, about the percentage, first of all, give this podcast a like on YouTube. We're nearing 500,000. We should keep recommending this so YouTube boosts us and ask everyone on Spotify to follow us. Barça Today, Project Today, episode number 9. Leave us 5 stars on the green platform. And by the way, listen to what I'm telling you. There's a video on YouTube that's been up since midday where I talk precisely about what needs to happen. For Barça to qualify among the top 8, I've run simulations and pay attention because I found the key to how it can happen and what needs to be done for Barça to be among the top 8.
That's really interesting. So after the podcast, everyone should go watch the latest Barça video.
Absolutely. It's very interesting. Well, with this, we wrap up our review of the Champions League, and we have this last little bit left. Let's discuss what's coming Saturday, because football never stops. Family. Tomorrow, we'll have Hansi Flick's press conference, and on Saturday, another match at Camp Nou at 6:30 in the evening. Match day 16, Barcelona versus Osasuna. Barça comes in with 6 consecutive wins in the league. Ira?
Yes, sir. And talking a bit about both teams, 6 wins for Barça, but Osasuna, Adri, in their last 5 matches, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Sorry, the win was actually in the Copa del Rey.
In La Liga, sorry, Ira. In La Liga, Osasuna has only won 1 of their last 5 matches.
Exactly, that's right. I saw 2 wins here, but it was just 1 win. They defeated Levante 2-0 and Club Deportivo Ebro 5-3. That was the Copa del Rey, which they won, then a draw against Mallorca, and now defeats.
One against Real Sociedad, 1-3, and the other against Sevilla, 1-0. Yes, exactly. If I go back to a previous match and only count the league, not the Copa del Rey. By the way, Osasuna, as you said, won their match. Osasuna has done, as you mentioned, the matches you talked about, but add a 0-0 draw against Oviedo. Here's a fact. From what I've seen, Osasuna struggles away from home. I think they haven't won a single match. They haven't won any away matches in the league. I mean, that's an incredible fact. They've drawn some matches, but Osasuna still hasn't won away in this league. Check if I'm wrong.
No, I was waiting for you to finish before I gave you the fact.
All right, yes.
La Liga and sports are interesting this round. If we only count the away games, Barça would be second, Real Madrid would be first with 18 points, Barça would be second, and Osasuna would be last with 2 points. Adri last in the league.
They haven't won, only had 2 draws.
2 draws, 2-1 still winless away. In that red zone would be Girona, Valencia, and Osasuna. And as I said, the team from Pamplona would be at the bottom. Look, including the away games.
I mean, Alexi Olitsi's team, we could say, is the worst team away from home, the worst team as visitors. Against a Barça that, along with Madrid, usually doesn't fail at home, especially Barça. Since they've been at Camp Nou, they've won everything. It also has to be said, I mean, the statistics for Osasuna are terrifying right from the start. But, well, the match still has to be played.
I have to say, Adri, that Barça away from home, well, we're playing at home. We haven't even drawn or lost yet. That's another good stat as the home team. Unstoppable. They have
won everything.
24 out of 24. 8 matches, 24 points.
I mean, Barça, we need to talk about which points we've lost this year. I mean, in the league, besides the Clásico that we lost.
We've lost.
A draw at Oviedo Stadium.
It could be a draw. Well, I'll tell you right now.
check it for me because honestly, I can't remember right now. People at home probably have it fresher in their minds. But Barça this year, this season is doing really well. We're leading 4 points ahead of Madrid.
With Rayo Adri and Rayo Vallecano.
With Oviedo, we started losing the match. Yeah.
On Rayo's field, they scored, Bueno scored the penalty, and Fran Perez equalized. Exactly. And then, Barça couldn't win the match.
So what about Barça then? Two losses and a draw?
And a draw.
Okay, Barça. I checked here because I forgot which other match we lost. Sevilla. Okay, Sevilla, right?
Sevilla, man, that 4-1, what a beating they gave us.
We lost to Sevilla. How the team changed, huh?
In fact, I think that match changed everything. And the Chelsea one, man, and the Chelsea one too.
The Champions League, didn't those mark a turning point for Barça? You really have to admit it. Since Pedri, John Garcia, and Rafinha came back, we're a different team.
I recall Flicky saying it.
I promise you, Flicky said,
I promise you this team is going to change.
It was at the post-Chelsea press conference after losing 3-0 that we lost and everything was victories.
We wondered how the team would change. Well, it definitely has, huh?
And here's a fact. Barça has started losing in the last 4 matches. In all the last 4, we've always started losing.
They've always had to come from behind.
That's an interesting fact, huh?
It's really interesting, but still, look, they end up winning the match. Yes, sir, if someone has to score against us for us to wake up, for us to start playing. Well, blessed be, but I'd rather not, man, because in the end, look, the other day, Frankfurt almost messed us up.
Well, look,
out of the last 4 matches, I'll tell you, okay, out of the last 4 matches, Barça has won 3 and lost 1, okay? We also have to say that Barça has only conceded 2 goals in 4 matches. Okay, sorry, 4 goals. And those 4 goals were from the day they lost 4-2.
We lost 4-2 there.
Don't you remember that Barça played with 2 substitutes, a lot of substitutes? Lamine came in near the end, scored an amazing goal, I can't forget, but they still scored 4 against us.
But give me some facts. The last match, how did it end?
3-0 for Barça.
3-0 at home.
At Montjuic, Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, and Lewandowski scored.
Perfect. The previous one, which was the match, was the one we lost 2.
4-2,
okay? And the previous one goes back to the season from 2 seasons ago.
January 31, 2024. Barça won 1-0 with a goal from Vitor Roque.
Vitor Roque edged it by the slimmest margin. We also won that match at Montjuic and...
The previous one was the Spanish Super Cup. Semi-final, okay, we won 2-0. Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal scored.
Also perfect, a great record for Barça. And well, bad omen for Osasuna because a lot has to change for the red team, which is very close to relegation. In fact, I think they're 15th in the standings. Are they having a tough time this year? Osasuna is yes.
Well, lower mid part of the table.
How close are they to relegation? 3 points.
There's Girona, which is the team marking the red zone. They're at 12 points, and they're at 15. Osasuna. That is, they're in a tough spot. They're really in a tough spot. There's still much of the season left with a whole second half and more matches to play. But Alex Elisi's team has to change a lot if they want to finish the season without struggling, because lately they've really been a mid-table team.
This year, the team is different. Budimir has just 5 goals. Well, it's not bad, but I think the team hasn't strengthened well. They've only added Rosier, the fullback, and lost Pablo Ibanez. Not much else has changed. For example, Vayan Zaragoza, who was on loan, is at Celta this year. I think the team hasn't improved at all. They've actually gotten weaker, making their situation more complicated. But look, seeing this picture we've painted of Osasuna, it seems like at home this is going to be an easy win. But look, how does Osasuna always compete?
Always at home.
Away, what's their slogan?
Do you remember, or does Osasuna never give up? No.
Exactly.
Osasuna never gives up. Osasuna never gives up. Well, let me tell you something. They're not going to give up. But the thing is, they're unlucky because they're up against Barça. Flick's Barça, not just any Barça. Flick's Barça. They're going to run. They're going to run. They're going to give it their all. And I can say right here that they're going to win the match. They're going to win it.
For sure.
Absolutely sure.
I hope we don't fall asleep. that it's a match where Barça dominates from start to finish, but that they finish it off. That is, you have to have the ball, you have to dominate, but you have to finish with goals and never disrespect the opponent. We should never let up, which Flick has always emphasized. For example, the 8-2 against Barça, that legendary match we never want to remember. Flick's teams never let up. Look at what happened to us against Betis the other day. The match was already won, first half with a 4-1, and then we relaxed. We scored the fifth, and then the team fell apart, they relaxed. That can't happen against Osasuna.
No.
Not against Osasuna or any team.
Not with anyone, not with anyone. But it's true that there are teams that get really fired up. With Betis, I didn't see the game in danger, but it's true that with a 1-5 score, the easiest thing would have been to score the sixth, and that would have ended the game. But instead, Betis scored 2 goals. Man, so of course...
They made it look a little better.
It also makes you mad when the game ends like that because it leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. But well, in the end, the important thing is the victory, and Barça did well too.
Exactly. Let's hope Barça does it. And so people at home get an idea. Which starting 11 do you think Flick's Barça will put out this coming Saturday? Because I already told you before that I think he's going to make some changes since we have matches on Saturday and Tuesday, so there will be some rotation, right? No.
Yes, there will be some rotation. In fact, the fact that Lewandowski is playing against Eintracht makes me think that Lewandowski won't be playing against Osasuna. Or at least from my point of view, the way I understand the German coach, I think Joan Garcia will be there. I would love to see the same defense again, and for it to happen again,
For it to stay there.
as they say, not to consecrate, but to strengthen, so the defense is consecrated. With Valde Koundé, Gerard Martin, and Kouarsi in midfield, Pedri next to Eric Garcia. And I would put Frankie or Fermin, we'll see how it could be. And up front, well, if Rafinha has to play because he's at 100%, I think he really is at 100%. But, well, we also have a Copa del Rey match, which isn't that important either. Yes.
Rotations will likely be on Tuesday since we're going to Guadalajara Stadium, and expect more changes in the starting 11 on Tuesday, but Saturday we'll see some changes.
For me, I mean, Rafinha, Lamine, and Ferran, from my point of view, to complete the starting 11.
Hey, and are we ruling out Ronnie starting in the 11?
No, nothing is ruled out. Absolutely nothing. Even Raforen, who changed the game the other day, exactly. Who knows if he'll also get the reward of starting?
Exactly. People should know that Rafa is for Saturday's match, but on Tuesday, it's the Copa del Rey. We'll also be with Guadalajara in the league.
Champions Cup, Copa del Rey. In short, all the titles, matches, friendlies, podcasts, everything, all the social networks. Always here with Barça. So people should know that if there's a Barça match, we'll be live. It's very easy.
Search.
It's very easy. Barça will be live today on all platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Big Up, and TikTok.
Exactly. Well, so the Barça starting 11 is more or less set. We'll see if there are any changes or not. What's our prediction for the score? Let's go out on a limb now.
Well, we can go out on a limb if you want.
Come on. It's true that it's still Thursday today, but well, looking at the precedent we have and all that, go out on a limb a little. Come on, give it a try. Hey, this one comes from...
I'm coming off a good streak.
A good streak, yeah. I mean, think about it.
A very positive streak. Look, I'm going to say Barça Osasuna, a match that I think will have goals. I'm going to say 3-1, a result that has come up a lot lately and gives me a good vibe. 3-1, come on. We'll concede another goal, which I dislike. Flick dislikes it even more. Yeah, but we give the benefit of the goal there to Osasuna and then to Barça. Let them start winning as usual, and then we come back to win the match. Perfect. 3 more points and be calm for the Real Madrid match on Sunday, which would be against Alaves at Alaves home. Careful.
Barça leading La Liga by 4 points over Real Madrid. I'll share my opinion too.
Come on, me.
In this case, Ira, I'm going to say that we're going to keep a clean sheet, which is complicated, right? It's very complicated, let me tell you. Osasuna 0, Barça. Well, Barça 2, Osasuna 0. What do you think? 2 new Barça.
Man, I hope so. I don't know. They concede a goal and 1-0. We always ask for at least 2 goals for peace of mind. Yes.
I say this because I prefer to keep a low profile and know Osasuna will make things tough.
A 2-0 would be great, or even a 4 or 5, but 1-0 is also very good. 3-1 and 2-0 are both great results, honestly.
So, Ira, is there anything else you'd like to share or any last-minute story?
No, not really.
Honestly, it made me really happy to remember those early days when we went to Camp Nou. It was really cool. Please leave a big like. It's really important for people to leave a big like. If you've made it this far into the podcast, you're clearly enjoying it. There's no other reason. If you're here and enjoyed it, please show your appreciation with a like or 5 stars on Spotify. It really helps us. Thank you so much.
That's where we are. Well, family, with this message from Ira asking for your collaboration in the form of a like, 5 stars, and comments. And of course, sharing this podcast. Episode 9 marks the end of Barça Hoy Project. We'll return Monday with episode 10. Careful, that's already 10 podcasts.
Careful, number 10. 10 episodes, a nice round number. We're into double digits now. Very good, step by step.
Yeah, so that's it. I'm glad, Ira, to have spent another day with you in the studio, sharing this little Barça moment. To everyone who watched, supported us, and listened behind the screen, thank you, and as always, may God bless you. Family, see you on Saturday at the Barça or Osasuna Barça match. Yesterday Barça, today Barça, we always see each other.